Welcome back to the Pranic Body YouTube channel. Today we have a very special practice for you today. We have Natasha Scott, prenatal yoga guru here, who's going to do a short video about what you can expect when you come to a prenatal yoga class, and just some of the important elements that will be in every class that you attend, at least with Tash. And just some really nice basic exercises that you can do at home as well.
Awesome. Cool. So I wanted to review the 6 major components that I have in a prenatal class. And so it's what I teach in my prenatal school, and it's what I offer in my classes, and it's just been developed over the years. And the very first thing that I always have in a prenatal class is discussion. So the prenatal class is usually an hour and a half long, and the first half hour is discussion. And so it can be a wide range of things, from how your body is changing to breastfeeding, postnatal things. And the wealth of information that's distributed between the women is awesome. Like, I've learned more from the women in my class than I have from any course I've ever taken. So
Totally.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also, like, lots of first-time moms are just reading things, so it's different to read something and then get in a conversation with somebody face-to-face and talk about what is going on. So massively important. The second major component in a prenatal class is pranayama, and so that is breath regulation. So working with your breath, and really your breath is your #1 tool for calming your nervous system. So if there's one thing that I can teach in a class that I leave somebody with, I hope that it can be breath work, and breath work during a pregnancy, but breath work during labor as well, used as a tool to help calm you down. Just because ultimately you want to use relaxation when you're in labor. Because if you're uptight, it's hard to get a baby out.
And the more you practice it before the actual big day, before you give birth, the more likely you are to use it, because it will feel natural and it will be a tool that you can just pull out whenever you need it.
Right, absolutely. So one simple breath that we connect with in prenatal is called the whole body breath. And we can all practice it together right now. So you can just place your hands on your ribs. And I know sometimes prenatal ladies are like, I can't find my ribs.
They're there somewhere.
But they're there. Yeah, so as you breathe in, you feel your ribs expand. And as you breathe out, feel the release. Yeah, and just stay connected with that whole body breath. So this breath is actually a remembering. It's not a technique. And the reason being is that you were born with this breath. So just taking time throughout your day, even to just take 3 whole body breaths, will start to change the neuron pathways in your brain, right, for relaxation or relax and digest. So
I feel more relaxed already.
Yeah. Another really important breath that you can practice at home with a partner is breathing into your back. So if you don't mind turning around, and I'll just demonstrate. So, and you can sit, and Kenna can sit with her legs crossed, or if it's more comfortable with her legs extended, absolutely. And these are just little meditation cushions to get the hips a little higher than the knees for comfort. But I start with the hardest breath. So the hardest breath is me placing my hands on her lower back, and she's going to try and breathe into my hands. So move my hands with her breath. And Kenna's practiced this before, so I can feel it right away. But with some people, it can take months to be able to connect with this breath in the lower back. Okay. So the bigger you get on the front side of your body, the tighter the back side of your body is going to become. So being able to breathe into your back and create space, send circulation, and prana, your life force, is massively important. One more breath here. So we stay at this one a little bit longer so you can really tap in and feel it. It usually takes a few breaths, even for those who are advanced practitioners with it. You can take the hands up to the ribs and isolate the breath there. So we already practiced breathing the whole body breath. But this, you can really isolate to the back of your ribs. Yeah, and that's awesome. And let's take 2 more breaths here. So feeling the breath, and usually you can connect with that one way faster. And then after this breath, you can take the hands right up to the shoulder blades. Okay? And she's going to breathe into my hands again, right at the back side of her heart. Okay? So other reasons why this breath is great prenatally, okay, is to practice for labor. So some women experience back labor or stargazers, okay, sunny side up, many different names, and it can be really, really intense. Okay. So being able to breathe somewhere on purpose gives your brain or your mind the feeling that it can control, it can help. Okay. And often when you're in pain, you feel like you have no control and that you're helpless. So breathing to places on purpose that are beneficial for you is massively important, okay, for your well-being in the situation. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. So you can practice that one with a partner, and Kenna will probably feel that she feels a whole lot calmer just practicing breathing. And it seems so simple, it's ridiculous, but simplicity.
Yeah. Totally. And even especially when you are going through labor and having really intense contractions, or if you are experiencing back labor like Tash mentioned, the distraction of that calming, gentle touch can help as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really great way for partners to connect and for dads to feel like they're helping and involved too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super important.
So that's an element. The third one that I really like to connect on is vocal toning. So vocal toning is funny because I don't think I've had many women in my classes over the last decade who have enjoyed vocal toning.
I would probably agree that that's the one thing that you bring it up in a class and everyone gets that look of sheer terror because they think you're going to ask them to sing in front of a group of strangers.
Yeah. So it is using sound. It's the availability to use your voice, and using your voice during labor can be really, really natural. It's animalistic, it's holistic, it's primal. It's there. And so being able to use it in a way that is beneficial to you. So keeping your sound low keeps your throat open. So your throat has a direct correlation or connection with your sacrum, with your pelvis and the pelvic floor. So if you're choked up here, you're choked up here. And so in the movies, you'll often hear like women like, screaming, right?
Yeah.
And so you think when you scream, all your muscles just tightened, right? So you're no longer getting your endorphins, your circulation is slowing down, and your pelvic floor just went up. So that's definitely not going to help you labor.
So opposite direction.
You want to use relaxation, right?
Exactly.
So we practice vocal toning in class. Most babies at around 20 weeks can hear what's going on. So if that's the case and you're vocal toning, and I'd say like practice in the shower or practice in your car, but practice in places where you feel comfortable to keep the sound low and open. And then when you come to the dance of labor, it's something that your baby has already heard. It's a familiar sound and you guys are doing this together, right? So we're going to go through the vowels for you. Thank you for doing this with me.
I have that look of terror on my face because Tash is going to ask me to sing.
So all I'm asking is that you keep your throat open by keeping your sound low. So when women do vocal toning in labor, usually they're just groaning or moaning, or I've had some women say that they owned, and I was like, really? That's so cool. But it's their partner's job, and for women to let their partner know that, you know, you may use sound, and let's use it in a positive way. So just remembering to keep the voice or the sound low, so you're not like a motorbike revving, getting higher and higher, because your contractions get more and more intense. So your partner's job is just to gently remind you to keep it low. So we'll be low together. So we'll go through our vowels for you, and hopefully you're somewhere where you can practice and you don't feel like anybody's listening to you, and Ken and I can just be nervous for you.
They won't hear you. They'll just hear us. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So take a nice deep inhalation and exhalation. So chances are you'll even feel that sound vibrate on your pelvic floor if it's low enough. Yeah, it's a real interesting practice, and that really leads us into the next thing on my list, which is pelvic floor toning. So pelvic floor toning, or some women know it as Kegels. So I keep it really simple in our class and connect it with the breath. But what I really, really want women to connect with is the availability for the mind-body connection with the pelvic floor and the letting go. Yeah. So that you can really feel what it's like, because when you're in labor, you want to be connected with the sensation of how to relax your pelvic floor.
Totally, because baby has to come out. That's
right.
What has to happen. So relaxing is just as important as
And so in a class that can bring up lots of issues. So many women have things going on, you know, with their connection with their pelvic floor, whether they call it down there or dirty, or they have this mind disconnection with the pelvic floor, or if there's been trauma. So if there's been things like rape, or there's been things like abuse, or there's been things, especially miscarriage, which is 1 in 3, is really common. So, you know, women are literally holding on and protecting there, and it's, you know, not until way later, and you know, past 36 weeks, when they know they're in the safe zone, that they feel that they can start connecting and softening. And some women don't connect and can't release the pelvic floor, and that will become an issue for them quite possibly during labor, right? So learning how to release the pelvic floor and why you want to connect with the pelvic floor beyond that. So one of my best friends, you know, called me one time and she's like, Tash, I've been told to do all these Kegels, and that's really great, but nobody's ever told me why.
Why?
So I was like,
why are you doing all
so
this?
you don't pee your pants when you jump on the trampoline, right? Like, if you ever want to jump on the trampoline with your kids, practice your Kegels, you know. And when you're pregnant, if you want to be able to sneeze without peeing your pants, you know. So very, very important. And it's important for life, you know. So I've worked with a lot of women who have had to rebuild their uterine wall and things like this, and they've been told it's because they had large children when they were younger, or different things. And so your pelvic floor is part of your body. It's a muscle, and you need to connect with it and exercise it. You know, so creating elasticity and flexibility through the pelvic floor will really help you during labor as well.
Exactly.
And help you for healing afterwards.
Totally. And you can't, when you're pregnant, you can't necessarily engage and support your body in the same ways as you can when you're not pregnant. So that's why it's super important to connect to the pelvic floor. And a lot of times people think about toning other muscles, like, you know, your bicep or like your abdominals. You want to get that six-pack, but it's just as important, if not more, especially during pregnancy, to keep the pelvic floor healthy and toned.
Right, yeah. And for lots of women too, I'll highly recommend seeing a physiotherapist of the pelvic floor, either during or after, just to help rebuild and heal, right? Part of your healing team. So I'm big on creating healing teams as well. But that's a whole other section.
Super important.
So for the pelvic floor toning, obviously you can't see if we're doing it or not. But I'd like you to be able to practice. And so real simple one to do with your breath is, as you breathe in, pull up the pelvic floor, and as you breathe out, release the pelvic floor. Okay? And you can do that for about 5 breaths. Okay? And then what I'd like you to practice is, once you get the hang of that, then you can switch it. So you can exhale, pull up the pelvic floor, and inhale, release the pelvic floor. And what that does is it really connects you to the mind-body connection, because once your brain gets something, then you can start grocery shopping and doing it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it really allows you to be inside your body with awareness and practicing. Yeah, so massive, massive importance. Yeah.
Awesome. And you really can do them anywhere. Like, you know, you're driving, standing in line at the grocery store, cooking dinner, in the shower, like any time that you have an extra, like 30 seconds,
right,
you can practice this and really see so much benefit, not only through your pregnancy and your labor and birth, but through your whole life.
Right, and if you really cannot feel what it's like to do your pelvic floor toning, get in and see a specialist, a physio for the pelvic floor, and they will help you connect with that, and that you're not alone. Lots of women don't have that connection, right? So it's like you're stopping yourself when you're urinating, when you're peeing, right? It's that sensation. Yeah, so how many elements is that? We've done discussion, pranayama, vocal toning, pelvic floor toning. So of course we get to asana, which is the physical postures. And so prenatal yoga is incredible for postures, for helping in many, many different ways, whether you want to speed up labor, whether you want to slow down labor, whether you need to just open up through the wrists, the ankles, and the knees if you've got edema going on, for calming your system. So the whole point, I find, with prenatal yoga is to connect with a downward energy. Yeah. So because you want to, that's how things are going to go, hopefully. Downward, right? So real connection with gravity and connecting with that downward flow of energy. And I was like, okay, what's one pose that I could show for this YouTube that I find really, really beneficial? And the first one that came to my mind was hands and knees. So if you want to come onto hands and knees, tabletop. So if you had really sensitive knees or wrists or ankles, you could always roll your mat for extra padding or place a blanket underneath. Okay, so Kenna is not pregnant, but if she was, you'd see a great big belly down here. And so what this pose is great for, so we talked about edema, opening up the wrists, the knees, the ankles, but it's taking pressure off the pelvic floor. So it's allowing the baby to hang in the hammock of the belly and just release some weight for her. Okay, so if she had worries about her baby being breech, this would be really great as well, because what it can encourage is a more optimal position for your baby. So I've had women, go home and spend 20 minutes a day right here or down on their elbows. Okay, so another great reason to just place this pose, and you can do lots of things while you're in this pose, is for labor. So the births that I have been at, women absolutely love being on their hands and knees, especially if there's back labor going on, because you can start to use counter pressure. Okay, so I'll sneak behind here, but I could come behind and just apply counter pressure like this, or I could do a squeezing of her hips. So, really, really awesome for your partner to be able to do for you, and to start practicing when you're pregnant, because it takes a whole lot of energy to be holding hips like this, especially if your partner needs you to do it for 2 hours, right? Your arms get a little bit tired. And absolutely that does happen. So you could always have one person on each side squishing the hips. A mom might be on a birthing ball, holding on and rocking in this position, but this is just a really, really incredible position for you to place in your storage of tools. So you can do, hip drops if you want to slightly drop your hips a little side to side, just opening up the knees. Yeah, she can do circles. She's grounding, she's got stability, all these things. And so if I could pick one number one pose for asana, then this would be the one. And you can start to connect with relaxation, which is our 6th and final one. And often I'll tell women who come to prenatal yoga, like, if you just want to lie down and have a nap the whole class, I'm absolutely good with that, because that's what your body needs. And sometimes moms have other kids at home. They have 1 or 2 or 3. So for them to get out of the house and just have moments to relax is incredible for them, physically, psychologically, the whole kabam, right? So I'm just going to walk you through a relaxation, and just a short one. And so if you're at home, if you want to set up so that you can lie down. So if you are pregnant and you are still comfortable lying on your back, by all means lie on your back. If you're more comfortable on your side, then set yourself up on your side, and you could place a pillow underneath your head and a pillow or a bolster in between your knees. Alright, so once you're in a nice comfortable position, just know that if you need to shift, you can shift. If you become uncomfortable, please make yourself comfortable again, but have the eyes closed. And just take a moment to connect with a softer and longer breath. And as you connect with a softer and longer breath, just notice how that breath feels. That it's different from your everyday moment-to-moment breath. And take your awareness right up to the crown of your head. And you can practice a body scan, so just slowly move down through your body. And just check in with how you're feeling. So how you're feeling physically, and how you're feeling emotionally, what kind of day you've had, and how you're feeling mindfully, the kind of chitter-chatter that's been going on, all the way down to your feet. And then you can soften your feet as much as you know how. So relax the feet, soft feet, and relax the legs. Can let the legs feel heavy, let them sink. And then soften through your lower back as much as you can. So just feel spaciousness through the lower back, softness through the lower back, and then soften your belly. And as you soften all around the lower belly, just creating a softer universe for your baby. I'm helping to create space. Soften through your heart center. So soften all through the front side, feel those muscles soften. Soften the sides of the heart center. And soften the back of the heart center right in between the shoulder blades, which can get achy from being overstretched. And then relax your shoulders, heavy shoulders. Let the shoulders feel like they can sink. Heavy arms, relax your arms, let the arms sink. Relax your neck. So soften through the front side, through your throat. And soften the back side of your neck. And the sides of the neck soften. And relax your jaw. Soften your jaw. Relax your jaw. Relax your tongue. Let the tongue sink right down to the bottom of your mouth. Relaxing your tongue. Let there be a natural space between your teeth, between your lips, and the space between your eyebrows. Make it even bigger. And then soften your eyes. Relax the eyes. Let the eyes feel soft and light. Soften through your forehead. Spaciousness through your forehead, releasing all the expressions you've worn today. Let the entire face feel soft and light. And then relax your scalp. Soften the scalp, let the ears feel like they can sink. And just set the intention to stay right here, just above sleep. And take your awareness to your heart center. Softly breathing in and out of your heart center, feeling the rising and the falling, awakening an intrinsic capacity for kindness, courage. And take a moment here and see if you can feel the connection from your heart to your baby's heart. And breathe that connection. And spend the next few moments right here, silently talking to and listening to your baby. And hopefully you'll be able to spend about 5 minutes lying here.
So thank you for joining us today to practice some prenatal yoga. Thank you to Tash for practicing with us. Also look out for the corresponding blog post all about prenatal yoga that Tash will be writing the same week that this video goes up. And where can people find you?
Starlit Yoga, so StarLitYoga, starlityoga.com. And you can find out where I'm at.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste, everybody.